So hello everyone. I would like to welcome all participants in this second brokerage event organized by ShiftCap project. This is the second event that we are organizing online, and the idea of the event is to first of all present some forthcoming opportunities that we have under Horizon Europe and other calls and other programs, and also to give the opportunity to um, people working in this sector in smart health get together, use the platform that we have in place to arrange some bilateral meetings and see if they can have ideas and concepts to share that hopefully will lead to proposals. So I will give a very short presentation of our project so that I can familiarize you with the services and um, the tools that we have developed under ShiftCap project. And then I will give the floor to our distinguished speakers to present um, the very interesting presentations that they have prepared for you. So let me share my screen. And okay, this is it. So, okay, I hope that you can see my screen correctly. Yes.
Yes.
So ShiftCap project is an EU-funded project, and the full title of it is Fostering the Development and Uptake of Smart Health Technology. So as you can imagine, everything is about smart health, and our goal is to support innovation. We are a project that lasted 36 months with 12 partners coordinated by Standbys Europa. And the total funding that we received was approximately 2 million euros. The challenges that we wanted to address in this project were well known, well documented in almost every EU policy. And of course, that's population aging, the rising disease burden. We all felt that with the recent pandemic, the shortages of health workforce, that was also a major case, and of course the pandemics. The solution that we brought to overcome these barriers and mainly work on developing tools and platforms to overcome data availability, the quality of data, the limited interoperability of data in health sector, and of course, the digital divide, and facilitate the development of smart health technologies and services. So we had 4 objectives in the project, and these objectives led to certain tools and services that we are offering. The first one was to build an EU smart health community, and we did that. We have in place a platform, the platform we are now using. Last time I checked, there were almost 450 individual members and organizations in this platform. All of them connected together. It's very easy to message one another, to find partners, to find even prospective clients, to reach out for a clinical trial, to organize some trainings or any events. The second objective was to support the development of smart health products and services. And to do that, we have in place also some technical tools, a technical platform that can help every smart health company operating with data. And that platform is developed by Claro. It is available. You can visit the website and you will find your way to that. And of course, in addition to that, there's a big catalog of services that we offer to startups. Some of these services also include pitching in front of investors, supporting you in this process, presenting your products in demo days, and of course, matchmaking events like this one. And I want to take this opportunity now to say that we are also organizing a pitching event on the 11th of July. And only 5 startups will participate in that. We are going to select the 5 most promising startups from our network and expose them to 5 VCs. So if you believe that you are eligible for that, please drop a message in the chat, and I'll be happy to provide more information on that. The third objective that the project addressed was improving the awareness and raising the literacy and trust of the educational resources and the groups that participate in this community. And we do that with a bunch of educational material, some focus group that we have created, and a number of gamified apps that help especially patients and people that are not experts in health. There's also a living lab in the set up in the project that supports innovation support, peer partnerships, and help startups understand what they need to develop and how they need to work on the products. These are the target groups. They are all the target groups that you can imagine, from patients and citizens to health practitioners to technology providers, and of course to public authorities and financial intermediaries. And the Shift Hub gives an opportunity to all these groups come together, exchange knowledge, improve their capacities, build their digital literacy, and improve their funding opportunities. We are using the Digital Innovation Hub methodology. It's a well-established methodology in European Union, and that means that we try to bring everything and create everything together and create a one-stop shop to support SMEs with digitization and create an ecosystem around that. And that, of course, will include the ability to test before you invest. So a test bed to try out your inventions if you are a startup, training material to improve your skills, support to find investors, and a big ecosystem with networking opportunities that can lead startups to the next stage. This is the whole map of the open innovations approach. And the idea is that we don't want to create solutions that are in search of problems, as many times we see in startups. There is a solution, but there isn't any need for that solution, unfortunately. So we try to bring up the challenge and the problem that is real in the sector, coming from the patients, coming from the health professionals, coming from hospitals, and then through an open innovation approach, open that to ideas and solutions of startups. This is our consortium. As you can see, it's a broad consortium. We have knowledge providers, technology providers. We have innovation intermediaries that bridge the gap between the knowledge and technology providers and the startups. And of course, we have partners like Digital SME Alliance, COPAC, that help us disseminate and expand our outreach. That's all. I don't want to take more time from our speakers. And before I pass the floor to the next speaker, let me also give you an overview of the agenda of what we have for you today. We will start with Paraskevi Papadopoulou, Professor Paraskevi Papadopoulou from the DIRI, the American College of Greece, and she will present a speech on from prediction to prevention and how AI is reshaping digital healthcare. After that, we will have a more extensive presentation of the Horizon Europe health clusters and opportunities under the cluster one of the health cluster of Horizon Europe, as well as other opportunities and synergies with other clusters and partnerships. We have split that in two presentations because we have the cluster covers 6 destinations, so we have grouped them in two parts. This will be presented by Adamantios Koumbis, a researcher and assistant in Cologne University Hospital, and by Juliana Folco, an expert in health from 81 Watts. Immediately after that, we are presenting some case studies, some institutions or initiatives that are in our ecosystem and can inspire you. We have a presentation from the European Digital Innovation Hubs by IED. We have a presentation of the AI on Demand platform by Martin Wells from Fraunhofer, and the presentation of Project Unite, a project under European Digital Health Valleys by Ioana Ionescu. So that's the overview of the agenda. I think that you will find all presentations very useful. And I'd like to give the floor to Professor Paraskevi Papadopoulou for her keynote speech. The floor is yours. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Odysseus. Let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see it in the...
yes, it's good now. We can
Very
see
nice.
it. Yes.
Again, thank you for the invitation, Odysseus, you and Christina. You already talked about the title of my presentation. It's From Prediction to Prevention, How AI is Reshaping Digital Healthcare. I'm a professor of cell biology and biophysics in the American College of Greece, the Department of Science and Mathematics. Here are my contacts for those that may want to contact me afterwards. I suppose everyone knows nowadays that the healthcare systems face challenges, major challenges like aging populations, all this disease burden, resource constraints. Let me just a moment, okay. And of course, we all think that digital health technologies can offer solutions for prevention, early intervention, and system efficiency. For sure, AI can serve as the catalyst of transforming all this reactive healthcare into proactive, personalized care. And for sure, Horizon Europe positions Europe as a global leader in ethical, inclusive, digital health innovation, so that one day we can go from treating diseases to preventing illnesses. And that we hope it's a paradigm shift toward a more intelligent, smart healthcare, if you like, hopefully wise. You all know the Horizon Europe 3 major pillars. I'm not going to elaborate on that. But I have included a good number of terms here. I'm not going to go over them, but because this set of notes will be shared, for those that are new in this field, it's nice to have the definition and also specific references to those definitions. So there are quite a few terms here, okay, all the way to carbon footprint and calculators. So my talk today is on 3 parts. The first one has 2 aims. The first aim is to explore what is precision personalized medicine and how AI is involved in that. Digital health, healthcare, global and public health, and also One Health. And the second aim would be to explore the role of AI, climate change, and digital health, and also the environmental and human health impacts. So starting from the first one, I have some references, papers that one can go over for an introduction. And of course, I have included some simple diagrams like this one here, where precision medicine is explored starting from accurate diagnosis. How do we do that? Moving on to targeted treatment and personalized therapies, so that we have improved health outcomes at the end of the day. and that will benefit the community more than anything, the patients, the clinicians, and the researchers. And if you focus on AI precision medicine specifically, you will see that there are various areas where AI can be involved, like genomic medicine integration, digital biomarkers, treatment optimization. I leave this for the readers afterwards to explore further, because there are a lot of areas where AI can assist. When it comes to disease prevention, again, we have to focus on early detection systems, risk stratification models, and all the way to behavioral interventions. We're not there yet, but yes, this is our goal. So far in 2025, the precision medicine market is getting bigger and bigger. And as you will see here, there are 12 key areas where AI is transforming healthcare. And I'm just going to read this list because it's important. Diagnostics and medical imaging is the first, patient monitoring and remote care, personalized medicine, mental health, preventing care, surgery, medical devices, clinical research. Certainly, education and training, this is left a bit behind. Public health and community outreach, hospital administration, healthcare supply chains. Now, as we go into more details in medical imaging and diagnostics, for sure, revolutionizing diagnostic accuracy and speed is something that we need to keep in mind, because through deep learning for radiology interpretation, and especially in pathology and histopathology analysis, this is very useful, also resulting into 3D imaging reconstructions and visualizations. So we move on to point of care diagnostics and in the decision support systems. I would say that the time to act is now, because many interesting trends have come up, like the Internet of Medical Things, medical robots, 3D printing, blockchain, and the rest, cybersecurity, wearables, etc. And there are, of course, a lot of startups to watch in the recent years. Some are not that successful, but there are quite a few already. But the pharmaceutical industry, more than any other, has experienced an acceleration in drug development through AI. And this happens through machine learning for molecular design and optimization, protein folding prediction for drug target identification, and virtual screening of compound libraries. And I'm going to say a few more things on that because it's very important. And they also use it in clinical trials and in regulatory science advancements. So when one sees the pipeline for drug discovery, development, drug design, you can easily see that you can have AI being useful in most of those steps, and it already has made a whole big difference. I suppose you hear me well, right? Because I don't see Odysseus.
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you,
okay,
and we can see the
okay.
presentation.
Because I don't see the rest. I see full screen. So here is a little bit more detail on what is needed to move on to drug discovery and development pipeline. And there is a lot of work done here, and I provide some references, which I think there will be very useful. There are, of course, already developments on software related to medicine, and all of those have to be approved by these digital therapeutics, have to be approved by FDA and EMA. In fact, lots of modalities already exist, especially those related to personalized mental health interventions. But at this point, we are basically integrating with the traditional type of care. There are some sort of hybrid care models that exist because we're not there yet to have fully digital, let's say, outcomes. Now, I want to focus a little bit on this paradigm shift that has happened in structural biology. I'm a structural biologist myself. I have done work with X-ray crystallography, microscopy, and more recently with cryo-electron microscopy, we are in the position to see proteins folding in a very specific way to become functional. almost at the atomic level, but we're not there yet to see all the proteins. So initially we had come up with 170,000 protein structures with all these methods. And in the year 2021, a major breakthrough. That is when AlphaFold 2 came up, and it was, here's the Nature paper. The code is also public. So what do we do here? If we can input any protein sequence, you will finally get a prediction, a three-dimensional structure that, believe it or not, it gives more than 98% similarity to the original, let's say, molecule that has been predicted through X-ray crystallography. But like I said, we had predicted 170,000, and now with the next advancement, which is AlphaFold 3, here's the next paper that came out in 2024. There are many more things that we can do because not only proteins, but we can predict the structure of proteins as they interact with nucleic acids and ligands. And simply because of that, you can understand why it is so important, this breakthrough in molecular biology, cell biology, structural biology, but also in pharmacology. So that is the major breakthrough. And of course, this had to accompanied with digital health infrastructure developments. The first was this European health data space that has been established with very specific objectives, like sharing all this data in a safe way, compliant with GDPR, but also enhance cross-border healthcare and research collaborations. However, I think that the technical infrastructure is a bit behind, especially in most of the countries in Europe. And the governance framework, again, needs to be further developed and be more transparent and explainable. So what we need to do, we need to transform all this care delivery. And in fact, there are AI-optimized hospital workflows already in place, resource allocation and other things. We need to support all these clinical decisions that sometimes are difficult to be made and it takes time. And also enhance, in general, the knowledge and train and educate all the workforce. So that is something that should continue. We need to expand healthcare access through digital channels. And all of us have heard of telemedicine and remote care innovation. Again, there is some progress here, but especially when it comes to rural and underserved population access, here we have a problem. And especially it is those people that need telemedicine. Of course, there are about here you can see more than 10 digital health disciplines that have merged out because of AI impacts on healthcare. And also here you can see a list of top AI innovations transforming the healthcare industry. I've mentioned most of this already. So that is really what is going on right now. But let's not forget that we need to address Europe's mental health crisis through technology. And lots of mental health screening is taking place now. Some platforms have been developed, but we need to integrate those with the healthcare systems. And this is, again, not so well integrated when we examine the electronic health records. For those that will go back to these notes, I have included a table with pros and cons. I have mentioned most of the pros, but also there are some problems like the bias in algorithms and data privacy, security. There are a few more things, including the cost. Quite a number of companies are already established, and you can see a diagram here. And there are quite also a number of initiatives globally, like the one from the World Health Organization, focusing on digital health. The FDA has established a Digital Health Center of Excellence, which is a very interesting one. The European Health Union, again, here on this side, you find interesting and useful information. Same thing here under public health. The European Health and Digital Executive Agency is also very useful. And again, back to the European Health Data Space Regulation, side. This space is very, very important, and I'm not going to go over again, but these are the main aims that you're going to see here. There are programs like the EU for Health Program 21-27, a vision for healthier European Union. And I think all of us should be familiar with that. And we also should know how we prepare ourselves in emergency situations, for emergency situations, and how we respond. I would strongly advise those, especially that are working on regulations and policy, to register and create an account under EU Health Policy Platform, because it has 4 usually thematics per year. A lot of people work on those, and they come up with joint statements, and various research centers endorse those statements. So I strongly suggest that. Let's not forget the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which has come up with interesting policies for better lives. And I also think that they have developed good AI principles. In fact, they follow the countries that are under OECD to check and see how they implement those principles for trustworthy AI. Many the reports can be found under OECD, and also specific ones for the health workforce. This all effort is connected to public health and global health and international cooperations. And there is an EU global health strategy related to that. The World Economic Forum has devoted a lot of space for global health. And I just, recently found this white paper on the future of AI-enabled health leading the way, trends and use cases. As you can see, the patient is at the center of everything. But again, we're saying that, but it's not really the case in many instances. And there are therefore some challenges, like these three key challenges that are mentioned here, starting from complexity of AI in health, misalignment, and also low confidence. So we need to look at those. Now, the next thing I want to just introduce is the One Health approach that has been adopted by United Nations, has also been adopted by EU, and it aims to sustainably balance and optimize the health of people, animals, and ecosystems. So I believe this is a very good overall approach. The second aim is on the AI's role in climate health and digital environmental impact. Very briefly, I want to mention that there are a lot of reasons why climate change affects human health, and they're mentioned here. And climate change increases finally the risk related to infectious diseases such as zoonosis and vector-borne diseases. So what do we do? Why? There are all these factors that create these problems on human health. And the factors that undermine climate change adaptation relate to socioeconomic environment, permanent crisis, geopolitical tensions, and we already are familiar with what is going on around the world, energy crisis, environmental degradation, social inequalities, austerity policies, and privatization of healthcare systems. So, despite all of that, there are a lot of good examples of AI used in predicting and tracking climate-related health risks, enhancing public health surveillance, resilience, supporting environmental research, all the way to promote climate-smart healthcare. And here I show you a good number of examples related to climate change and AI-driven technologies. I would also bring your attention to this wonderful report from Lancet that is related on health and climate change. Very interesting indicators that connect climate change to extreme events and vulnerabilities and all the problems we have. There are also studies from Institute for Health Methods and Evaluation for Europe as a whole, so you can have an idea of what is happening in Europe. You can go to specific countries like Greece, for example, here, and you can see what is happening in the country. I also suggest that to have a look at this wonderful issue of the Global Burden of Disease 2021 study. These are epidemiological papers. And a number of other reports follow. I'm not going to go over them, but they're very important how they connect climate change to human health, including reports coming from IPCC and also interactions among coupled systems. So check those reports. Even from US, we have some very good reports like the one you see here, and it continues here. So these are examples of climate impacts on human health. Let's not forget that OECD produces reports for the state of health in the EU, but also for individual countries, as you see. And I would like to mention the European Environmental Agency. This report here, very important for us to realize what are all these impacts of climate change on our health, and also in general, the benefits and limitations of AI-enabled solutions. When it comes to policies, in the EU, we have some very good reports how we should address all these climate-sensitive infectious diseases. So here is one more report to see. And the question is, what is the environmental impact of AI? I mean, is it so bad at the end, or what about the potential of AI for sustainability? Here I show some work that has been done to calculate the carbon emissions for single training of large language models or whatever. There are some specific numbers that are interesting to examine. This is what we call the carbon footprint of healthcare AI systems. Certainly, we saw a lot of supportive things related to its supportive role, but we keep forgetting the threatening role, I believe, or we kind of ignore it. So let's have a look at those reports. Like this one is also an excellent paper to see how much energy is needed to train or to develop any AI system. And in terms of healthcare, we want to see how much energy consumption will be required in the years to come. So again, there are papers that do this type of work. Let's not forget, though, citizen science, because I think it is very important to collaborate with the public and to engage them in research and therefore increase our scientific knowledge. Now, as far as the AI is concerned and SDGs, I know 20 minutes are over, but just a few more minutes. There are positive and negative impacts. Likely the impacts that are positive are higher in percentage-wise. The United Nations actually believes that AI can help us tackle environmental challenges. There are hidden costs, but we need to include environmental scientists and sustainability officers very early in the AI system design. So there is evidence, more work is needed. Mitigation strategies and design principles have to be put together, having in mind the goals, 3 and 13 at least, as you can see. Europe is doing relatively well because it has come up with consumption footprints. There are calculators to calculate this AI footprint, you see here. I'm not so sure how accurate they are, but it's nice to see that there have been attempts. Now, the regulatory landscape for healthcare and AI, which is part 2, I'm not going to say much because I know this is going to be covered afterwards, but I included it in the notes because I think this AI Act is, this risk-based approach is very important. Nice reports have come also out from Greece. You can see them here. We need to protect the health data in the digital age, you know that. We need to create the regulatory environment for AI healthcare innovation. So all of this is interesting to keep working on. There are similarities and differences when it comes to comparing the various regions of the world. Let's examine also the final report of SDGs and see how well are we doing. Let's also familiarize ourselves with what is ESG rating for companies. These 3 pillars: environment, social, and governance. ESG is not CSR, let's not get confused. And ESG can be applied to healthcare AI as well. Luckily, in Europe, there are attempts to compare policies and how they address the SDGs. This is an Erasmus Plus project that I'm working on, and you can check it is close to completion. Very fast, I will finish by saying in this part 3, we need to look ahead and we need to understand what sort of regulatory measures must be urgently strengthened if we are to ensure AI in healthcare serves both people and the planet ethically. This is the reason why we bring here the ethical issues, security, privacy issues. Frameworks exist, but we need to keep working on those, and we need to educate people. And so these hubs like yours here, for sure, it helps a lot. And we need to prepare all the healthcare professionals for the new era and change expose them to professional roles, new professional roles, and not forget to demonstrate the value in this digital health transformation. How are we going to do that? How are we going to reduce the cost and all these economic considerations? Combine social and governance best practices. That's something we should not forget. And finally, realize this common future vision for Europe, at least, and a call to action, and engage all the stakeholders that we can engage in order to achieve this vision. A very good example is this Biomed AI Summer School that is coordinated by the Digital Health Literacy and Policy Hub and by the Institute for Sustainable Development and Archimedes Athena Research Center here in Greece. And it took place this time at the International Agency for Research on Cancer in Lyon this year under the World Health Organization as well. So this is an interdisciplinary networking, lifelong education on AI implications in the field of healthcare and biomedical research. It has similar visions like what we see in Shift Hub. The key takeaways I already have mentioned, just look at them, the recommendations the same, and I will finish by saying that AI can transform healthcare into a precision-driven, resource-efficient system that advances both human well-being and the planetary health simultaneously, that AI can help us build healthcare systems that heal not only people, but also the environments they depend on, and we need to govern all of this wisely. And also with the right rules, AI can extend quality healthcare to underserved communities globally while reducing the sector's environmental burden. The Pandora's box is open, I want to say, but let's check its contents with no fear. And with that, I just want to say that we are in a transformational decade of action. We need to do many things. This is just a short list. And I'm really very hopeful, because we can bridge sciences and research and education with the industry. It's not that difficult after all. So I'm an optimistic person, like what you guys do here at Shift Hub. And I would say that the future of health is digital, intelligent, if not wise, and certainly deeply human. And I don't know, Odysseus, if I have 1 more minute to show you this video from...
Yes, we have.
1 minute, just 1 minute. I think it's a nice message for all of us here today.
Healthcare is deeply personal, but in a digital world, it can feel distant. When language, literacy, or tech access become barriers, understanding slips away, trust fades, care breaks down. This is where we come in. We are the Digital Health Literacy and Policy Hub, a New York-based foundation and benefit corporation focused on closing the communication and engagement gap between healthcare institutions and the diverse communities they serve. Our mission is twofold. We bring the knowledge and experience of leading international experts in public health, policy, and digital innovation to the ground, making tools, frameworks, and guidance that directly support communities. This continuous exchange helps us shape smarter policies, more ethical digital tools, and more inclusive systems for health and well-being around the world. Because health is not just data, it's human. And this isn't just about better technology, it's about health justice in the digital age. Join our movement to understand through rigorous research, build tools that respect human dignity, and demand systems that include everyone.
Okay, this is it from me, and I thank you all for your attention. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you so much, Iri, for this very interesting presentation. I see that the nexus between AI and health and climate change, and I like very much the connection that we have built to that. And indeed, climate change is the big factor in our health, and I think the Commission has realized that, and we can see a lot of calls requiring to address that aspect as well. So
yes. We cannot ignore.
please, yeah, definitely. If there are any questions or any comments from our panelists, from our attendees, please feel free to join and ask. We will share the presentations afterwards. We will upload them to the website of the event. You can stop sharing.
Just a moment. Somehow I cannot open. Okay, wait. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Stop share. Okay, here is one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we can always accept questions later on. If you want, you can also use the chat box, ask anything there. I will address it. I will use it. I don't see any questions at the moment. So we can move to the second presentations, and we have with us Adamantios Koumbis. Adamantios is a researcher in the clinic, in the University Clinic of Cologne. He's a very experienced researcher and proposal writer and project manager throughout the years, and we have collaborated with Adamantios for many years. So I'm very happy to have him here. And he will present to us the first 3 destinations of Cluster 1 under Horizon Europe. So the calls, destinations and the calls that are in the work program of 2025. I'm sure that Adamantios will go beyond the calls, and he will share some very useful insights, because we can all read the calls and we can all read what the calls are and the budgets and the titles. But I think it is more important to see what exactly they need. And one thing that we see many times is that often proposal writers read the text of the call, but they ignore the text of the destinations, where all the important information and the rationale behind the calls are. So I will give the floor to Adamantios to discuss that and present us the 3 destinations of the work program.
Thanks, Odysseus. And indeed, because we know each other, you didn't need to read my mind, because exactly that is the thing that I didn't see it as useful, that I will repeat things that people can read on their own, but also trying to see the bigger picture about the destination. So now I'm sharing my screen, and I will present you what I have prepared. And know why it doesn't work. I will make it work. Sometimes things in life need,
We could see it, Diamandis, but it wasn't in full screen.
I know. But now you may see the full screen, yeah? Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's about dissecting the calls. I know that Juliana will present the 3 last destinations, so it's from my side to present the first 3, but I wanted that I will share with you some other remarks. So the thing is that since 1 month now, the calls are officially open, and I'm aware that there was more than a year that there were final drafts of the work program that they were circulated, not only for health, but also for the other clusters. And still many people, consortia, partners, or coordinators use the old draft versions. For health, it may not be as fatal, but in some other clusters, there were changes, so some call topics disappeared, and some numbers of call topics have been replaced. So it's good to have up to date the latest version and not use an older one. And there were also some very little small changes in textual parts, but considerably in budgets, expected EU contributions. So it's good again to pay attention to few details and not to be embarrassed later seeing there that you have been estimating some wrong number of proposals to be funded or budget limits for budget for these call topics. And one may think that this early disclosure may have supposedly helped consortia to prepare best or at least better, but a question we may ask to ourselves is, did we make good use of this plenty of time that there was there? So even though they were not the final versions, but we all knew what were these call topics about. So at a great extent, we could have even prepared a great part of these proposals, to not even say that we may have already finalized them and then go enjoy our holidays, but this is rather not the case. So there are many consortia that are still working, tinkering on improving concept notes, or didn't yet make good use of this plenty of time. If there is anything unpleasant with the time planning and the submission, is that the deadline is for almost all proposals, either single stage or first stage, on 16th of September. So there is no way that some proposals can be submitted earlier on or later on. So it will imply that there will be a hell lot of work for people to submit proposals by the 16th of September. And it's only that the second stage submissions are planned for April 16 of 26, apart, of course, from the COFAN proposal, but I'm sure that none of you today may be preparing for COFAN proposals. And same like some other work programs, there is little know-how, and people feel safer to fail in a proposal that is a mainstream proposal than trying out alternative submission paths like the joint undertakings of the Innovative Health Initiative or the COFAN proposals, or programs like the research infrastructures. So implicitly, what I want to say is that it's good also to not focus on mainstream calls, which will attract lots of submissions and may have also a higher rejection rate. And looking into the first three destinations, so it's taking health in a rapidly changing society, living and working in a health promoting environment, and tackling diseases and reducing disease burden. They are not the, let's say, IT intensive calls, which are the next three ones that Juliana will present. And some of them are populated with several call topics, while one of them, as we will see later, has only one topic, call topic underneath. And this is about not seeing the big picture about destinations, but also failing to see this big picture. And what is a common truth that we can easily see that it happens is that people, consortia, researchers, scientists, applicants tend to ignore them. Okay, and there is a collective sentiment about destinations that they are something like boxes containing the call topics. This is not my quote, and it's not an explanation given by a 5-year-old child, but comes from a senior professional in this field, that he used this term to explain what destination is about. Something like boxes containing the call topics. the thing is that, okay, there is no wonder why ChatGPT wins popularity in application writing when people have such an attitude about a work program. So I would expect that there might be some more professional understanding of the destinations. But it's still important to ask oneself, are destinations important to study? Are they worth to consider before starting writing our proposals? I will mention something that I remember once a project officer from the commission, but it's many years now that I was told this. It was the beginning at that time of the Horizon 2020 in 2014. And I was told that start writing your proposals from the impact. Don't start from the objectives or from the work program, the work packages, and which tasks should be covered. Start your proposals from impact. And it is actually this impact that relates with the destinations. So if you are a little familiar with the proposal writing process, each call topic includes the scope and the expected outcome. There is no mention about expected impacts. And expected impacts are only mentioned in the destination part. Of course, I'm sure that there is so much illiteracy that people might build a narrative in their proposals for expected impacts based on the expected outcomes, even though expected outcome relates with the outcomes of the project and not about impact. So this is something that is not necessarily making someone optimistic about the efforts that people will give to write a proposal, prepare a proposal, all these immense efforts, while on the other hand, failing to see very little details that matter. So from a practical perspective, destinations define the expected impact of all proposals addressing the box topics, which means that this naive and quite wrong explanation that the senior professor mentioned about what destinations are, it's also practically true, because if we would look into the call topics that are part of one destination, then they all aim to achieve the same or similar impact, which means that it's something that if we could imagine that within a university or within a company or an organization, we are preparing proposals for call topics that are all part of the same destination, it does make sense that all these people who might be competing, writing their own individual proposals that might be, on the other hand, part of the same destination, it makes sense if these people would communicate amongst each other to exchange ideas, develop a better understanding of the destination that they are targeting, even though with through different call topics, so that they might share a common basis of argumentation and support points to address this destination. Now, I'm sure that this is something that doesn't happen. And it's a pity because, as I said, it doesn't need to be competing researchers in a same organization that are all of them submitting a proposal for the same topic. It might be that we have, so for instance, in the University Hospital of Cologne, there are researchers that may be applying for one destination, even though for different call topics. It would make sense that they might all share some common way to develop an understanding about this destination. So, for instance, you see here that tackling diseases and reducing disease burden, it includes several destination call topics. So it does make sense that people who are working on individually different proposals for different call topics, they might, on the other hand, cooperate to develop some high quality impact section, which will be then differentiated, customized to support its different call topic details. But on the other hand, they might show that they have collaborated to develop a common understanding for this destination. So this effectively means that all calls of the disease destination share common expected impacts. Of course, because each of them will have their own research agenda, they will not need to have the same grounding of the arguments to support what each individual project will come up with in their planning to address these impacts. And this is extremely correct, but also, as I mentioned before, it is actually in practice ignored. I don't know. I think that it's the audience that has to ask questions and not the panelists, but I'm not sure why this is in practice ignored. And I would understand for some junior researchers that they develop their applications for first time, but in many organizations, they don't provide also some means to instruct or to educate or to increase and seriously increase the capacities of their researchers and scientists and their personnel so that they might be helped to succeed. So what I see also from several other universities, not only in Germany, but also in Europe, they provide very routine support from the research offices, or how they are called, research management units. They provide only support for admin parts, so no substantial support or help for the practice of preparing an application. And why now should one care for the destinations? So each of the three first destinations elaborate on about 1 to 2 pages the wider context they are situated, and then specify the expected types of impacts they may achieve. And this should allow researchers, scientists, research performing organizations, or applicants, whatever we like to call them, to develop a deeper understanding of what each of the individual topics aims to achieve as part of a bigger whole. Now, I mentioned before these obsession that people, instead of studying something on their own, they might prefer to ask ChatGPT. I'm not against this as a practice. Actually, even if I were against it, I wouldn't have any option to have a winning argument for this. But the thing there is that it is a practice that actually has been evolving in all the previous years, because consortia, researchers, scientists were mainly focused on writing down their objectives that are part of the excellence part. And then based on the objectives, they were building the work packages, what each work package needs to cover, what deliverables these work packages were about to produce. They cared about the interoperability between amongst the different work packages, the different tasks, the different deliverables, but they were ignoring the impact section. They were happy if there would be some partner there that would care for the impact section. And from the practice perspective, impact sections seemed very much alike, because they were at a great extent building on some previously submitted proposal. So even the dissemination, exploitation perspectives and parts and sections were replications of some previously submitted proposal, which may not have had any relevance to the core topic that this proposal is addressed. So this actually would allow much better interoperability amongst projects in terms of use and reuse of results. What I mentioned is that imagine that in your organization, you may be having several proposals that are all part of the same destination. So it makes sense that you might set up a team that will care for the impact sections of all these proposals in a way that you will build a base document which can then be differentiated to address each individual topic. On the other hand, the backbone of this impact section will be the same, because you will have then a team that has studied the destination, what are the expected impacts, and then you are sure that you will have a much better, much higher quality document that can then be individualized to the different core topics peculiarities. In case there is any objection or any question, Odysseus, please don't wait till I will complete my presentation, but feel comfortable to interrupt. Okay. So now read and again read. Destinations are not a result of parthenogenesis. They can be seen as sources and core reference points that our proposals can be related to. But as you see also, there are lots of bibliographic references there. And this is the idea there, that one can go read also these bibliographic references and try build a rich and bigger picture and set up an information base that each of these individual topics will be addressing. But someone badly needs to develop a rich and bigger understanding of the destination that their proposals are targeting for. Okay, without having this deeper and richer and bigger understanding, proposals may fail. So, some practical tips and estimates. As I mentioned before, what is an ideal advice, but it's in practice ignored, is people to start writing their proposals from the impact section first. And this means situating the specific proposal idea to the wider context of a destination. Most or all consortia, as I mentioned, do the opposite, so they develop a narrative of their research idea and then, using some reverse engineering, try to ground it in the destination context. And let's now see specific items that you can, this is something that I think that it may help you, because you can, as Odysseus mentioned, we will circulate the slides, you will be able to download them. So this was like a cheat sheet that I provided, I prepared and provide to you, that you can see there that for each of the destination, these are the most important aspects. So if someone would see, okay, I'm preparing a proposal for the destination, staying healthy in a rapidly changing society, so then the dimensions that one's narrative should be built upon are about promoting healthier lifestyles and behaviors, addressing aging and demographic change, personal prevention and early identification, and improve evidence-based health policies, digital empowerment, innovative solutions, and holistic and people-centered approaches, which means, okay, of course, this is not binding. This is my personal understanding of this destination, but personally, I would try to develop supporting arguments for the impacts that my proposal or the proposal that my colleagues are developing for destination staying healthy along these 6 dimensions. Of course, I'm sure that people might feel more comfortable with the one or the other, or they might like to ignore one of them. So it's difficult to find the supporting arguments for all of them. But still, this might be, let's say, one way to address this. Now, for the second destination, living and working in a health promoting environment, again, the idea is that I have decomposed these according to this dimension. So it's about occupational health and safety, which may in a proposal be covered fully or only partially or not at all. So it doesn't mean at all that a destination that I have possibly wrongly analyzed according to these dimensions has to support a narrative based on each of these aspects. So it's about here occupational health and safety, environmental determinants of health, social and economic determinants of health, green transition and health, interdisciplinary approaches and development of evidence-based policies. And for the last destination, here things are easier, or at least less complicated, because it provides also, this destination provides hints for clustering and synergies, and also the wider context of initiatives that proposals need to develop. And this destination, this third destination, is focused only on presenting conditions that the individual project needs to satisfy for advancing medical knowledge and developing innovative solutions to prevent, diagnose, and cure a wide range of diseases. So there is a stronger focus amongst others on addressing major societal health challenges. The idea of these workshops and events from ShiftHub is that we will offer you the opportunity that you can contact us and ask us questions and ask us for individual help. So from my side, I will be very happy to receive questions from you or anything that you might need clarifications. And this is something that our project will be concluding in this year. So till September that you will be submit your proposals, we are here to provide this type of service and feel comfortable to make use of this service. So even if you send me questions by 15th of September, I will be happy to provide you with answers that may be useful so that you might have a winning proposal. And for us, for ShiftHub project, it is very important that we manage to demonstrate that we have supported applicants to submit winning applications. So it doesn't mean at all if we would be partners in your proposals, but it's extremely important for us to demonstrate that with our services, we have successfully managed to support people to submit winning applications. So that's from my side. Odysseus, are there any questions, or if people would like to ask something now, I'm happy to
I can't see any questions
answer.
in the chat, but of course, people are welcome to post any questions that they have there.
Okay. Perhaps the panelists then may have any questions or any comments or remarks or even objections to what I was presenting or saying before.
Maybe we can move to the second
Okay.
to the other three destinations that Juliana Forco will present. Juliana is an expert in strategies of innovation in health projects, and she's the director of socioeconomic innovation in 81 Watts. And she will present the three last destinations of the work program. So any questions, please feel free to post in the chat, and we will discuss. Juliana, please go on.
Thank you, Odysseus. So I'm going to present the three missing destinations, and the slides don't move. We tried before. I'm sorry, I don't know why they don't move. So I'm gonna. Sorry for this. Okay.
You can see it, yes.
Do you see the slide moving? I'm turning the slide, but I keep on seeing the first one.
No, we only see the first one. Is it PowerPoint or?
It's a PowerPoint,
Adobe?
so I'm trying again, and hopefully this time will work. So I try again, guys. I'm really sorry for this inconvenience. Actually, we tried it before because usually sometimes I have this problem. So possibly if you can see my slide, I will keep them this way.
Yes,
Not
yes,
the full
we can see
screen
them.
mode, but
It's
still,
okay.
yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for this. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, I have also some general remarks. I might repeat something that Adamantios already said. And then I'm going to drill down into destination 4, 5, and 6. Considering the importance, and I think Adamantios explained it very well, I'm going to focus very much on the impacts, but also on the general focus. So the calls for proposal, and I'm going to introduce an important topic, which is the one of synergies. You can work with the others, but also build on top of what was already done in the past. Then I have some common remarks for all of the destinations and proposals, which might be useful for you as you're writing your proposals. And then also some indications of where you can find all the details. Just one word who we are. We are a company that was spin-off last year, so we're a startup. We are combining the power of technology and in particular IE and deep tech with the understanding of social sciences and humanities, which are very useful for the impact section. This is especially my focus area, so focusing on social innovation, communication, dissemination, and business go-to-market, which are very relevant in Horizon Europe projects. General remarks: 4 destinations, 3 destinations, destination 4. Here, the focus is really on general impacts and very detailed impacts on the healthcare systems as a whole. Destination 5, here the focus is really an impact also on the broad society. Adamantius explained how important it is to focus on the impacts. In Destination 6, which is mainly focusing on the impacts for the health industry sector. So we're going to go through these impacts later on. Hope you find them useful. Overall, there are 8 calls for proposal, 1, 4, and 3 respectively in each destination. As Adamantius said, all the calls for proposal are open for submission at the moment. The deadline is the 16th of September, and for the second stage, it's mid-April. There is only 1 2-stage among these 8 proposals. Very good news. We have a fantastic opportunity of 345 million. But on the other side, some bad news, because the thresholds have become very stringent. So we need to score 4 out of 5 in each of the criteria of the proposal. So in excellence, impact, in implementation. And this means that the impact section that Adamantius was talking about is becoming very important and as important as the others. So many focuses on the work plan more. Others on the technology part, which is the excellence part, but impact is as important as the others, and we need to score at least 4 in each of the criteria to be successful with our proposal for this year. So I'm focusing a bit on the different destination, and I try to focus very much on the impacts and also the context of the focus areas. Destination 4 is about ensuring equal access to innovative, sustainable, and high-quality healthcare. Here, the reference is to the strategic plan impact summary for the health cluster that you can actually read, which is really about having this healthcare system which are equal, provide equal access to innovative, sustainable, and high-quality healthcare, because they have adopted safer, cost-effective, and people-centric solutions. So people-centric is coming a lot in the different destinations, and tells us a lot about the approach that we need to take in writing the proposal. In terms of very specific expected impacts, for the healthcare systems, this means to improve the governance mechanism. This means moving from hospital-centric to people-centric type of approaches, which will allow to be more effective, efficient, accessible, resilient, trusted, and sustainable, both from a fiscal perspective and an environmental perspective. In terms of healthcare professionals and healthcare providers, this means improving the skills and the competencies, especially during this digital transformation. As it was said before, these 3 destinations are very much focused on digital, AI, generative AI, augmented AI tools. So there is a key focus also on driving skills and competencies from the healthcare professionals. And at the same time, they put the patients and the citizens at the center. So citizens should be able to manage their own healthcare. So and also not just the citizen in general, but usually the Commission has a very strong focus on the vulnerable people. So we need to make sure that we address also the needs of the vulnerable group. This means having improved access to healthcare services. This means have a better financial risk protection. This means have timely access to a healthcare system which can provide high quality services. And last but not least, another very important aspect all the times for the Commission, the policymakers. So the policymakers should have an holistic approach in order to be able to evaluate the health outcomes the public health intervention, but also the health organization themselves, and also be able, of course, to provide better and faster decision-making processes. So these are the core impacts for this destination that you need to consider when you write the proposal. From a very pragmatic and practical perspective, you know, you have session 2. In session 2, you have a session which is 2.1, which is on the pathways to maximize the impacts. And practically, you at the beginning, you can mention the expected outcomes of the goal, but then very importantly, you need also to mention all the contribution of each of these impacts in the destination. That's the way it's going to work. And of course, for both of them, the more you are precise and the more you can actually quantify through KPIs how you're going to reach first the expected outcomes of the goal, but more importantly, the broader impacts of the destination, the more you'll be successful with the evaluators. Generally speaking, I want to provide another another advice. At the end of the day, the reviewers have only the test of the destinations with all the description of the context and the impacts, and also the synergies requested at the destination level, and the test of the course or the topics to evaluate the proposal. So the more you stick to those content, the better for them to evaluate and to have a good results. In terms of focus, there are two focus areas. The first one is more technology related, and it's really on artificial intelligence solutions. And the second one is more people related, as we heard several times today. So people-centric solutions that are able to improve the engagement with the patients and are able to empower the patients with more and better personalized services. But this, on the other hand, means also driving trust and acceptability of AI and digital tools in the patient community, in the citizen community. Here we have just one topic called, which is actually covering these two aspects. It's a research and innovation action, which means that we are paving the way for these user-driven applications, but they will be then some time and some further research after the end of the project before the healthcare systems can actually adopt these applications. This is going to be very important for the exploitation strategy. You have to outline a roadmap for the next steps on how you're going to bring your solution, which is very much still research-based, to the healthcare systems after the end of the project. There's going to be two projects funded for this goal. I'm really sorry for the noise in the background, but they are doing some renovations in my building today. I didn't know that, but that's a bad surprise, but I hope you can hear me well. So in a nutshell, we are focusing here on virtual assistants demonstrated in 2 use cases based on trustworthy, ethical, generative AI models that are able to increase the safety and the efficiency and the personalized care from care providers, but at the same time, they improve the quality of life of the patients. So this aspect of the quality of life of the patients is very important and should be stressed across actually several of the goals in the 3 destinations I'm dealing with. I put here the synergies because this is also a very important aspect. The first synergies are actually mentioned in the destinations. There are several synergies that you can see here. I tried also to put some links. Some are provided themselves in the test of the work program. Some others you'll see here because they are not provided, but you can take a look. It's going to be very important that you think about the synergies that you can achieve with your project. In some cases, actually, you can use services. It's the case of the research infrastructure services and the data infrastructure services In some other cases, you'll see that they mention maybe projects that have already been concluded. So what you need to do is actually to build on top, see what's available and build on top. And in some other cases, they mention active projects. In that case, of course, you need to bring collaborative actions. You don't need to think of those collaborative actions with the existing projects at the moment, but it's very, very, very important. You provide a task and you actually allocate a budget. That's of paramount importance. In some cases, as you'll read in the work program, this is also suggested by the topic and the call itself. It's very important you provide a budget because increasingly the Commission requests that you work together with your sister projects and with other EU initiatives and that you have a budget for that. I'll tell you, in the past, it happened to me that the coordinator was asked actually during the grant agreement preparation to add a work package for these clustering initiatives. So if you don't have a budget, then it could be a problem. So think about it. And when it is mentioned that you need to have a dedicated budget, so it's really the Commission driving this request, please do it. Do it in all cases, because a networking task is needed for all the calls in these 3 destinations, and I guess also for all the others. But in case they really recommend, increase a bit your budget for these types of synergies and networking activities. Consider that networking can be on, joint and common dissemination and communication, but more and more they request others. They request, for example, to have joint policy recommendations. They may even request to have a joint scientific strategy. So you exchange knowledge and you build together with the others also the scientific development. So it's really important that you consider this in your proposal preparation. Briefly on the destination 5, this is about the new tools and technologies and digital solutions, as I was saying before, for broad impacts on society. The strategic plan impact summary refers to these tools, technologies, and digital solutions applied effectively because they are inclusive, they are ethically sound, they are secure, and they are also sustainable. They enable sustainable delivery. So what are the impacts here of the destination? And here we don't have just one topic, we have more topics. So it's very important you read the outcomes of the topics and the goals, and you read the destination impacts. First of all, a drive for European leadership. Both in AI and in science regarding these new tools and technologies and digital solutions. Second, a more targeted and a faster research, which is resulting then in safer, more sustainable, efficient, cost-effective, and affordable tools, technologies, and digital solutions that can improve personalized care for the patients. Third, international cooperations, always in the context of the European leadership. Third, reduction in the burden of diseases. Then a focus on productivity as well, of health research and innovation, and a focus on the quality and outcomes of healthcare thanks to the use of health data and innovative analytical tools. And once again, the importance of the citizens and the importance of the role they may have if they trust the opportunities offered by these innovative technologies. The focus here is on 3 areas. The first one is more on biotechnological tools for therapies which are at the moment either missing or not yet sufficiently developed. The second focus is on Gen AI again, in this case to help deliver new knowledge for advancing biomedical research. And the third area, which is very interesting, especially for SMEs, is on technology transfer of biotech-derived therapies from discovery to approved products. As I was saying, in this case, we have more than one topic call. Indeed, we have 4. Also, in this case, we have a research and innovation action. So it's going to be important that you focus then in the impact session on your roadmap for the post-project for the application of your solutions into the healthcare ecosystem. As I was saying, it's particularly interesting to me, the last one. As you can see, I mean, we have quite a sizable available budget, but also a very high number of indicative number of projects funded is around 10. And I'll say a couple of words again on this one in my presentation. I focus again here on the synergies, because to me they are really relevant. The first one you see here, they are across the different core topics. So yeah, so they are, the synergies suggested at this destination level. And as you can see, then in each of the topic, they reference just a few potential other synergies. So you need to refer to the destination. It's there where you work with the synergy topic. That's why it's important. I repeat and stress the comment made by Adamantios on the importance of the synergies. If you look at the single topics, you see that they don't mention that, but when you look at the destination, you see there are a lot. So this means that each of the core topics will have to leverage those synergies in the proposal writing. So as I was saying, actually the first two are more on the therapies, tool 1 and tool 2. The first one on engineered cells to address the current limitation of cellular therapies with the indication of possible 11 therapeutic areas, but you have to choose one, but of course you can read everything in the work program. The second one is on the secretome-based therapies, again here with a strong focus on potentially paving the way and in the future have regulatory approved secretome-based therapies for human use. And this is why they actually asked to start from a therapy which is already demonstrated in preclinical models. The third one is on artificial intelligence. So they ask to advance human-centered, again, strongly important, the people involvement in the human focus in the development of the AI and digital tools across all 3 destinations. In this case, they want to do it for biomedical research, leveraging health multimodal data for at least 2 use cases. In this case, beyond the synergies mentioned in the destination, they put a strong focus also on other potential synergies, depending also on the scope of your application. So could include also European partnership, for example, missions, the cancer mission, and so on. I stress again the importance of the data infrastructures, the research infrastructures, and of the new emerging AI factories. The AI factories were launched last year. There is also one here in Italy. They provide services. They provide HPC capacity, for example. They provide data management services. They provide other services. Get in touch with them already before the preparation of the proposal, because you can leverage these services if you need them. And then the last one, which I was saying was quite interesting to me, because it's about the support of clinical research for SME companies. I mean, they stress the fact, which is very true, and I see it all the time in the projects I work with, that some of the most fantastic innovations come from SMEs, but then SMEs lack the capacity, and also, let's be frank, the money to carry out clinical trials. So they are supporting the clinical research phase 1, but also phase 2 or both clinical trials with with evidence, those that have already a regulatory approval at the moment, and 50% of the budget shall go to SMEs. So I guess this is an interesting opportunity to scale and move from preclinical to clinical studies. Some of the solutions that I guess there are several SMEs at the moment in this call, can leverage to advance their solution to a product. In this case, coming back to the impact session, of course, it's going to be very important to have a very sound exploitation strategy. So you need to build a business case, you need to build a business model, and you need to build and demonstrate in the proposal your go-to-market strategy once your project is over. And last but not least, also Destination 6. This one is, as we were saying before, on the health industry. The focus is on making the health industry more innovative, sustainable, and globally competitive, thanks to the adoption of breakthrough technologies and innovations. They have a focus also on social innovations, in order to be more resilient and also less reliant on imports of critical health technologies. So as you can imagine, I drafted here the expected impacts, but you have all details in the destination. The focus is really on improving the competitiveness and the sustainability of the health industry in Europe and also in the associated countries, and making us in a way more autonomous in essential medical supplies and also in digital technologies, health digital technologies. And this in turn can contribute also to making Europe welfare richer, so more jobs, more GDP growth, and more opportunities, especially for entrepreneurship, startups, and SMEs. There is also a requested impact on improving the cross-sectorial research and innovation in the context of convergence of health technologies, but for example, integrating medical technology, pharma, biotech, digital health, e-health, this to strengthen the market position of our European health industry. Of course, there's a focus, as always, on efficiency along the value chain, and of course, on the demand side, a focus on driving an uptake of these innovative technologies and services, also through the provision of evidence, but also guidelines, as we said before, so people, but in general, not just citizens and patients, but also the professional in healthcare system that need to trust and accept innovative technologies for their adoption in the EU. And we need to think about methods, engagement tools in our proposal for this to happen. And of course, also this increased health security has much to do with being more resilient and less reliant on imports. In this case, we have three topics. The first one is on manufacturing processes of ATMPs in order to, be more efficient and faster and produce stronger health benefits. The second one is on the simplification and digitalization of conformity assessment procedures. And the last one is on enabling and facilitating the exchange, the improved knowledge on the conduct of multinational clinical studies for orphan devices for rare diseases, and also other innovative digital-based devices. We have here three calls. The first one is innovation action. So I stress again here the importance of having a business case, business model, and a go-to-market strategy, because commercialization in this case becomes important, with 5 projects that are expected to be funded. The second one is a communication and support action. So it's actually supporting this simplification of this conformity assessment procedure with just 1 project funded. And the last one will be 5 projects funded, but it's going to be in the second stage, because this is the only 2 stages that we have in our 3 destinations. In this case, I put here again the synergies. Please take a look. In case, as I was saying before, the synergies they recommend is for ongoing projects or maybe projects which are close to end. Please build on top. Look at what they do. I put here the reference, for example, to this coordination support actions, which is paving the way and the path forwards for major adoption of ATMPs across Europe. Take a look. Same for the last one, which is a 2-stage. Here they recommend other synergies with Erdera, which is the partnership of rare diseases, if you don't know, in general with the other calls in the youth health programs. I put a link that you can see, and the GRC. Some concluding remarks. These are maybe some tips that you can find useful across all the destinations. So the first one around the consortium. The first thing I wanted to say is that given the opening of the US National Institutes of Health Programs to European researchers, in exchange, we are allowed to invite US entities in our proposals. This is for all the calls in my 3 destinations, but not for the Tool 05, possibly because, as we said before, the Tool 05 is really to support SMEs clinical studies, and they focus on Europe. The second one, you'll see there are these restrictions on high-risk suppliers for the protection of the European communication networks. I don't think any of you is a high-risk supplier. There are lists of high-risk suppliers in the toolbox for the 5G released by the European Commission. Actually, each country should have a kind of identified the high-risk suppliers. But I had a look around, and I mean, most of them are, of course, Chinese suppliers, but I had a look around and I found an interesting presentation. And what they say is that if you have an high-risk supplier in your project and you win the project during the gap preparation, they will simply ask to replace it. So I don't think it's going to be a major issue then, because you can simply replace these high-risk suppliers. In most of the calls, the JRC participation is an option. It could be a member, especially for linking, let's say, your scientific work with the pre-normative regulatory actions they can influence and support. But in all cases, the JRC, if it's not a member of your proposal, will support the proposal in all cases once you win. But this is the last point, and to me the most important. These things you can actually see also in the calls. But this point is that you need to have a broad representation of stakeholders in your proposal. So this means that you need to take an ecosystem approach if you want to realize impacts. So this means that you need to have the scientific, you might have the regulatory, you might have the hospitals, the university, the research center. The hospitals will have to be in a position to bring in the professionals and also the patients. You may want to have also citizens for your dissemination activities. You need social sciences and humanities skills to address those aspects. And you may need someone, especially for the innovation actions, for those calls that require a business and go-to-market strategy, someone who is able to draft and guide you through business modeling and exploitation activities. Mirroring, it's very important, and it's highly encouraged, I guess most of you are, so it's good news, to have SMEs. And in case of commercial exploitation, they actually have a strong focus of having Europe first type of approaches. So think an exploitation commercial strategies for the year, but also for the Tool 05, starting from Europe and driven by SMEs in the consortium. Mirroring this broad representation of stakeholders, multidisciplinary approach is a must, is a requirement, you have to have it. And you have also to adopt user and people-centric type of approach especially for the digital tools and the solutions. What does it mean? It means that if you have a pilot, don't wait until the testing phase right, to kind of have a test and feedback on your solution. This means that the users and the people must be involved since the very beginning. So they are those that are providing the requirements, and there are those that can support you in co-designing the solution. This is very important. So the pilot should start early because you need to involve the professionals or the patients, depending on your topic, or the people, in any case, since the very beginning. And then, as we said, networking and synergies are very much important. Other requirements, this is actually, you can see it in the call test. If you want to use satellite-based or observation, positioning, navigation, and all the related services, you have to use Copernicus and Galileo signals. You can also use other to complement, though those are mandatory. For the clinical studies, you have your usual annex to be completed. Make sure that you have all the information. So start working on this as soon as possible, because you need then to fill in all the information in the annex, and it could take time. When it comes to AI models, trustworthy and ethical are, kind of the guiding principle. Read the AI Act, try to be as much as conform to the principle then there, and if you can also include green AI, because this is very relevant. Green AI principle is very relevant topic for the Commission at the moment. And the other point is has to be developed. So we said about the US, but for trustworthy and ethical AI models, they want to be developed in EU and associated countries. And needless to say, GDPR rules are still very important when you deal with sensitive data. FAIR and data principle are still very much important principle you have to highlight, and you have to be as open as possible and as restricted as mandated by your exploitation strategy. So if you a patent or you want to commercialize, then you can have part of your models, of your solutions that are restricted, but you have still to be as open as possible. I mean, there is mentioning in the potential synergies, a lot of the EOSC, so the Open Data Science Platform. Please take a look. For further details, you can read the work program, of course. You can. It's going to be very important because there you have all the details of the destinations they presented, as I've just said as well. You can search the calls on the funding and tender portals, but then you'll find the detail just for the calls and not for the destinations. You can rewatch the presentations of the Info Day, and also you can contact your national contact points. That was actually also stressed during the Info Day. And if you want, you can also contact me. I'll be very happy to take questions, or also for a chat, discussions on your challenges, the challenges that we face as an SME company, which is working as well a lot on writing proposal. Please feel free to drop me a line, and I'll be very happy to discuss with you guys. And thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Juliana. Thank you for presenting the destinations and the calls and giving your insights. Let me see if we have any questions, any comments. Okay, there is a request for consortium. Please go ahead to the platform, and I'm sure that you will find a lot of companies or organizations that probably would be interested in building a consortium. I would like to welcome Eleni Zarimi from ID. She is going to present the European Digital Innovation Hub they have in Larissa. Hi, Eleni, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Odysseas, for the invitation. Well, please let me start by sharing my screen. Can you see it in full screen, please? Can you confirm?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you can see the changes?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, my name is Eleni Zarimi. I'm from Institute of Entrepreneurship and Development, which is located in Larissa, and I'm innovation manager. My expertise is related to economic regional development and entrepreneurship. And today we will have a brief discussion about what Health Hub is. So, in two words, Health Hub is the hub that helps and supports the digital transformation of health in healthcare and pharma sectors. It is a project that is co-funded by the European Union under the Competitiveness Program. And what the actual story behind this is that it's a European Digital Innovation Hub among more than 200 hubs in the European level. There are very common elements in all these hubs because they want to respond to digital challenges and become and give the opportunity for the enterprises and the businesses to become more competitive. But the real story about the Health Hub, it is that it's a Greek European Digital Innovation Hub. It is located in Thessaly, the region of Thessaly actually, in the city of Larissa, and coordinated by Institute of Entrepreneurship and Development. The most important part here is what are the services and the target group of this hub. Health Hub clients are more public bodies, SMEs, startups, and micro businesses that want to achieve changes and digital transformation quicker using the Health Hub services. We do not have larger companies in our clients' portfolio because they actually are another story. They have different needs, and of course, they rhythm in a digital transformation, and of course, in regulatory parts is totally different regarding to SMEs and micro businesses. So, our consortium is made of 25 partners. It is located in 6 regions in Greece. Among them, you can see that we have research institutions, universities, public bodies, organizations, SMEs, and startups. Each one has a different role in the consortium. For example, we have universities that provide services related to scientific issues, like the AI diagnosis, digital health, personalized health, laboratory services, and etc. Public bodies are here and responsible to transfer this knowledge and the practices to the central decision-making people in order to find the best fitting to change the way of treatment with digital tools without regulatory barriers. And of course, we have SMEs and startups that are taking the responsibility to provide services which are related to consulting, funding, tech support, and digital solutions. As you can see, this is the ecosystem that we already have been built, and we keep trying to make it bigger and bigger every day. There are different kinds of agents in this ecosystem, and that is the most fascinating part, because you can see that the technology and the innovation can be a common part for all of us. The truth is that the services should be more understandable. So we have to categorize them in 4 pillars. The first one, test before invest, is the pillar that related more to the tech support and the digital solutions that help businesses not only to test, but also to validate their product before entering the market. It also gives the facilities and equipment if it's needed. Skills and training is the second part, is very important. It's actually unexpected huge, the need for training and education, because there are more and more people that do not have the knowledge and the mindset in order to achieve this transition from the classical and the traditional tools to the more digitalized ones. So in the most cases, we can see that from our experience, there are the tools, there are the systems, and there is the equipment, but we do not know how we can integrate and how we can manage to work with it. Then we have support to businesses, which is more like a service that is related to the question, how can I do it? How can I achieve it? What are the steps that I have to follow? And what are the economic resources that I need to take, that I need to integrate, that I need to do in order to make the next step? And this pillar is more about consulting, guidance, and mentoring, not only for the EU and the national funds and grants, but also for the guidance and the mentoring in business planning and, of course, financial coaching. Finally, we have innovation ecosystems and networking, which is also a huge need because in general, businesses need the brand awareness, networking, and of course, chances for collaborations and partnerships, especially when they are entering the market. They are in the first steps, and they need to have as many as possible chances to start with. In just a few slides from now, I have the services, not to explain them all, just to see what are the services, and then you can have the presentation from ShiftHub in order to navigate further and understand what are the chances through Health Hub. The most important thing for me now is just to give you the brief idea of what the Health Hub is, and of course the added value for this kind of services. As you see, support is through events and guidance consulting. And events is more about events, innovation days, and health tech watching systems in order to make easily interpretable to different kinds of people. The collaborations are some of them here in this slide. I would like to give you the link of the Health Hub platform in order to have the time to discuss and to find any further information, and of course navigate through the platform and the tools we have. And if you need further information, you can contact us. One last word, because I wouldn't like to extend the time, and we should stick to the plan. I would like to invite you all to the InnoHealth Forum, which is a hybrid event that we organized in the 26th and 27th of September. The aim here is to cover the health tech innovations in terms of exhibition, panels, presentations, and matchmaking. So I will give also the link of this event too, in order you all to have the chance not only to participate on site, but also online if it's not possible to be here. That's all from my side. I wouldn't take more time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eleni. Thank you for sticking to the time limits as well. I want to mention here that we have listened to so many interesting things about initiatives, about policies, about potential organizations and partners you could include in your consortia. I'd like to urge all participants maybe dig a little deeper in the presentations, which we are going to share after the event, and see how you can make the best use of this network that you will see in the presentations. And the next presentation is another very interesting initiative. It is the AI on demand platform, and we have with us Martin Weiss. He is a senior AI solution architect with Fraunhofer, and he's going to present this very interesting tool. Martin.
Thank you very much. So let me share my screen. So I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay, very nice. So this is about the AI on demand platform, currently supported by two projects directly, which are called AI for Europe and Deploy AI. My name is Martin Belz. I work for Fraunhofer in Germany, and I'm the lead architect of the AI Builder, which is one of the subsystems of this platform. So the mission of AI on demand is to provide AI resources to everyone that is interested in Europe. So Europe produces a lot of AI models, a lot of tools and services, and they're all scattered across many platforms and somewhat poorly connected. And the main mission of AI on demand is to bring them together in one place, to make them visible, the one-stop shop for AI resources in Europe. So what do we have already in our platform? You can see here a lot of models, several hundred of thousands of data sets, educational resources, AI projects, more than 500 organizations, more than 250 case studies. So this is already on the platform and can be searched and accessed. So very important is, of course, resource sharing. Projects can upload and share AI tools, data sets, services, results, to share them with the broader community and increase visibility and reuse. And here it is important to note that the AI on demand platform itself only stores the metadata. So you can upload the metadata actually in the platform, which might be stored in Zenodo or any other binary storage or in any other system. The goal of AI on demand is to have the pointers and the metadata, the descriptions, and they can reside, the actual resources can still reside where they are uploaded in their home system. So we have a collaboration hub, which provides a common space for researchers, for developers and innovators to collaborate on certain projects, to share updates and exchange knowledge. It's also possible, of course, to showcase your outcomes. It enables the dissemination of project outcomes through dedicated pages, demonstrations, and interactive components, so that you can really show the best of your project. Extremely important is, of course, the topic of interoperability. So we want to include as many resources and systems as possible. So the interoperability is a key point, and we achieve that through simple standardized APIs and components. And a lot of examples how to use it. And also very important is, of course, the community engagement, to have a vibrant community. And so we support in the outreach and the engagement with end users, with stakeholders, and with the many other EU-funded initiatives through events and networking tools. So here is now a look at the platform as it looks like now. So we have the web portal, we have the AI catalog, which offers AI-enhanced resource search. We have the possibility and the dialogues for resource sharing. We have services, and there you can see a screenshot of the AI Builder, and we have the community. And all this is then unified by the metadata catalog API, which stores the metadata of all these data, of all these resources in a distributed database, and refers to them on Hugging Face or Zenodo or in OpenML, where they reside permanently. So here we can see the UI of the AI catalog. So here it's easy to find certain resources, data sets, AI models, experiments, and so on. And it is enhanced by AI search. Then we also have some tools, which is the AI catalog, which I showed just. We have Rail to create reproducible workflows. And we have AI Builder, which I will show briefly in a later slide. So then, of course, we have an overview of events and whatever is happening in the community and events and news. So it's a good idea to look regularly on this page. And of course, we are interested in integrating new tools. So we have in Europe a lot of very distributed resources, and it is possible to share your tools through this API to make them more visible in the AI on demand platform. And it's also possible then to build new tools on top of the API that we offer, maybe some specialized search or some automatic updates or some notification tool. All this is possible with access to our simple Python SDK. Yeah, so here's a look of the web interface for sharing and editing AI resources. So it's all possible via a web interface, easily to do. And here is some screenshots of the Research and Innovation AI Lab, abbreviated as RAIL. And it is possible here to set up AI experiments and make them fully reproducible through leveraging container technology. Then we have the AI Builder. So this is a no-code environment to create cognitive architectures from reusable AI modules. So we see more and more that LLMs alone don't go all the way. You have to extend them, you have to combine them with more tools. On the right-hand side, you see an image of a pipeline that uses RAG, retrieval augmented generation, to add more knowledge, more special knowledge to an LLM. And it can also collect user feedback. And those resources and those models are reusable. So you can, for example, exchange the LLM, which is used here. In this example, we see the Teuken model, which is open source and made in Europe by the OpenGPTX project. You can replace it with, for example, Mistral or even with OpenAI models in case you want to compare and find the model that performs best for the specific task. What we also do is to add long-term memory to LLMs. So currently it is limited by the length of the session and the context window. And if you log in the next day, everything is forgotten more or less. And we have an approach to save data and conversations then as a knowledge graph, which is also easily followed up. So you can find out what actually is stored in the memory and explain how the reasoning of the model works. Then we support also recent developments regarding agentic workflows. So to enhance LLMs with agents using the MCP protocol, which is currently very popular. Maybe you've heard of it. It was defined by Anthropic. And it's also very easy to create your own MCP agents. So they are skeletons of code. So you basically need to just replace the implementation of the agent itself, the method, and everything else is already available. So with this, I come to the end of this presentation. You have here the link to the platform. It's very short and easy to memorize. Join us, and we are happy to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Martin. It seems as we're presenting a lot of very useful tools, and I'm sure that they will be much appreciated. We have one last presentation before we leave you to go to your bilateral meetings and meet other interesting counterparts and build your network. The last presentation comes from Oana Ionescu. She's working on the project Unite on European digital health valleys, and she will present this project to us. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much for the invitation and for having me here today with you. Just a moment to share my screen. Okay, so I'm here today to talk to you about Project Unite, which is a European project funded under the Horizon Europe initiative. The project has started last year in September. It's ongoing until 2028, and it is a project aiming to address the problems and the fragmentation that exist at European level in the health area. So, as you know, and as you are very much aware of, there is a fragmented situation at European level in terms of digital health, and these problems affect us all. Also, part of the problems is the fact that innovation in Europe is a little bit lagging behind US and China, and although there are programs and initiatives trying to address this situation, the progress is slow, but it is, so that's encouraging. There are a lot of projects going on trying to solve as much as they can part of this challenge. Also, at European level, there are very large asymmetries between different regions, sometimes in the same country and sometimes in different countries. So what is Unite trying to do? It's a very ambitious project, and it aims to improve the health, the well-being, and the economic outcomes through digital innovations. And it is focusing specifically on the health area. My name is Oana Ionescu. I am part of the Romanian team that is implementing the project in Romania. My organization is called UEFYCDI. It's an acronym, a complex acronym, and I'm sorry for it. Actually, it stands for the Romanian Innovation Agency for Research, Romanian Funding Agency for Research and Innovation. Like I said, we are part of this project. The project is formed of the partners that you see on this slide. There is a project where we have both regional partners, parts of countries, but also full countries such as Romania and Scotland. The project tries to connect, it has three main purposes, but mainly it tries to connect the private, the public, the academic, and the civic sectors, because these are the actors most involved in solving the situation and the challenges that are faced by the health domain. Of course, one of its main focus is on supporting startups and SMEs, because these are the first and most important solution providers in terms of addressing the main challenges that we face. And we are going to do that by launching a series of open calls, which I will explain in the next slides. At project level, we started by mapping and finding that there are 4 innovation challenges that affect all regions in Europe. And these 4 innovation challenges were grouped under a very general definition so that we don't restrict the let's see how to call it. We don't restrict the participation or the interest of the possible future applicants. The first challenge, it refers to deep tech innovations that can be used to secure the equal health of population to health services. The second innovation is related to identifying those digital innovations that can be used to design personalized and human-centric remote care solutions. This is specifically for areas that are further away from hospitals or medical units and where the population has a limited access to services. The third one is the European Health Data Space, which is a very important aim of the European Union, the interoperability of the health data spaces existing in all regions, and the fact that we need to try and we need to find a way to make them interconnect and communicate between them so that patients do not have difficulties while asking and receiving health services in other regions. And the last one is to identify the digital innovations that can be used to mitigate the health workforce crisis, which I'm sure it's present in all our countries. This is a little bit more in detail explanation of the first challenge. So like I said, this one is about identifying and using deep tech technologies that can be used to secure the equal health access for all the segments of the populations. And this is addressing specifically the challenges faced by the elderly, the disabled, all the vulnerable groups that exist in all countries. And as you all were aware of, Europe is facing an aging population problem, and this will have a huge impact and it will put a lot of pressure on the health systems in Europe in general and in all countries. So there are ways and ideas and solutions that can help mitigate this challenge. The second one, it's about identifying those solutions that are centered around human care, and they are based on the 4 principles of medicine, which is that medicine should be predictive, preventive, personalized, and participatory. This is very important because sometimes when we're trying to identify a solution or a device to solve a problem, we may not be aware that or the impact it has on all the other people. Like I said, the European Health Data Space, that challenge is quite advanced and quite difficult to tackle. It aims to identify very technical solutions for interoperability. And the last one, it's related to the workforce crisis. Like I said, there is a shortage of staff, of healthcare staff existing in all countries. So we need to find those solutions that can help doctors and nurses being less burdened by administrative or tasks that can be digitalized and help them focus more on the patients. What we have done after identifying these challenges was to try and prioritize them at project level. And this has been done in 2 ways. The first one was by sending a survey in all the regions to a huge database form of actors related to the healthcare domain. And the second one was to organize on-site events in those regions as well. The first tool, let's say, provided bulk data and determined a specific ranking. The second one allowed the regions to go in more details and ask participants their opinion and debate and detail the innovation challenges and how they are understood in each region and how they are perceived by the actors in the healthcare domain. After these 2 stages, there emerged a ranking of these innovation challenges, which you can see here. So from the survey, the first challenge was the remote and centralized care. The second one was the deep tech for equal access. The third one, the health data space, and the fourth one, the workforce crisis. While from the on-site event, there is a slight change in the first 2 in the first two innovation challenges. I mean, the fact that the first ranked was the deep tech innovation for equal access, and the second one was the remote and centralized care. The last two ones were identical. And this is quite interesting for us because it showed that on a general level, the priority of the ecosystem is to identify those solutions that provide access to everybody and are centered around the people, while the last two ones are perceived to be more technical. For instance, the European Health Data Space, most of the participants consider that the solution requires some technical programs or softwares that are not so easily developed during the project life cycle, while the last one, the health workforces crisis, involves or actually needs the involvement of public authorities and long-term strategies mitigating the crisis of the workforce. Again, not a task that can be easily achieved during this project life cycle. What we identified after these events and this survey was the fact that the target groups of the project first are formed of solution developers. Like I said, startups and SMEs and general companies that are working with very specific tools and programs. Again, the research area is very important and can contribute massively to develop these solutions. And lastly, the end users. It's very important to identify the organizations that are really having troubles and to identify the proper solution for this organization. And this is important because all these forms of value chain, so from the provider to the researcher that improves the solution to the final beneficiary, this is a link formed of actors that need to be interconnected and that needs to be very good identified and positioned in order for the solution to work and be viable. What are the next steps? After this validation of the innovation challenges, there will be a steering committee of the meeting of the steering committee of the project that will decide which is the first one that will start. These challenges will be the focus of the open calls that will be launched at the end of this year in all the regions of the project, in all the 7 regions of the project. And these open calls will target 1 or 2 maximum innovation challenge. So we need to align the regional priorities with the ecosystem needs, but also we need to support the market-ready and emerging innovations. All in all, this task will be performed in the next few months so that in autumn, late autumn, we will launch the first open call. We plan to have between 2 and 4 open calls, depending on the budget, because this is a cascade funding type of funding. So the first 2 open calls have a budget, and if this budget is not fully used, the remaining one will be needed to launch future 2 open calls. That's it from my side in a nutshell. I will keep you informed with the progress of the project. I will provide the contact links for the open calls when they will be launched in autumn, and I invite you all to be part of the solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all speakers and hosts and participants for their patience and for staying till now. We have concluded this plenary session. All the presentations, all of them will be available to you in the webpage of the event in our platform. If you haven't registered so far, I would advise you to register to the platform of Shift Hub, explore the tools, see what you can find. Join also the community. There are more than 430 members there already. Some of them are actively looking for partners, for consortia. So I'm sure that you have a lot to share, and you can take the first steps on building a successful consortium. And of course, from now on till I believe 5 o'clock, we have the face-to-face meetings. So through the platform, participants are able to meet one another, discuss, exchange ideas and concepts, and see how they can build their new solutions. And once again, thank you for joining us. Good luck with your proposals. Don't hesitate to contact us if you need any clarification, if you need to contact any of the speakers, if you need any help with building a consortium. We will be here to help you. And of course, stay tuned. There are plenty of more events coming up. And ShiftCat project will be active till December 2025. And of course, we will follow up. There are more opportunities coming up. The timing of these calls is not the best. It's during summer, so preparations are not easy for anyone. But do not despair if you don't have time or you have a very heavy schedule and you don't want to lose your summer. There are plenty of opportunities coming up in the work programs of 26 and 27. So stay tuned, join our network, and I'm sure that we will find a way to collaborate. Thank you so much. Please complete the poll. For those of you that participated, there's a poll, and we would be grateful if you could respond to this poll. So I will leave it open for a few more moments to complete the poll. Once more, final chance, please fill in the poll that you see in front of your screens. And I wish you a great afternoon, great weekend, and every success with your proposals. Thank you so much.